Being just 1 week removed, the Oklahoma City Thunder are already making roster moves. One of them made Oklahoma City Thunder fans scratch their heads. The other one, Thunder fans were definitely excited about, as the Thunder are declining player options and giving out new contracts. So we've got to talk about it all, break it down, talk about what this means. Before we do that, as always, though, I want to hear from you. So join the discussion. Jump in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think. You guys really showed up during the NBA playoffs, so continue to hit that like, hit the subscribe button, especially if you're new to the channel, so that you guys can be brought up with everything going on around Thunder basketball. But this is, I went into this offseason thinking this wasn't going to be a big offseason for the Thunder. Obviously, it's not like you're going to go out there and sign somebody big in free agency. You might have seen a trade or two regarding some players on the team that maybe you don't see a future with. And that's kind of what you saw last night, right? Last night, you saw the Oklahoma City Thunder move Dylan Jones and a second-round pick to the Washington Wizards for a player that they just ended up releasing. So a lot of Thunder fans kind of might be asking themselves, well, what are we getting? What was the point of that? And the point of the Dylan Jones trade was this. Oklahoma City traded 5 second-round picks to move up to trade Dylan Jones. He ultimately just has not been what you thought he would be in Oklahoma City, and that's just how it is sometimes. Sometimes you take flyers on people, you make evaluations, and as good as Sam Presti has been, he's going to miss on players. That's just how it works. I mean, if you go look, though, through Sam Presti's first-round pick history, he's obviously hit more times than he's missed, but you are going to miss. And let's take a look at that, right? So his first-round pick history, Kevin Durant, Jeff Green, Russell Westbrook, Serge Ibaka, James Harden. I believe we can say all of those were hits. You got Cole Aldridge. That was a miss. Reggie Jackson. I think that was a hit because Reggie Jackson's had a prolonged career in the NBA and was pretty good here. Perry Jones. That was a miss. Steven Adams, I think, was a pretty decent big hit. He's been in the league for a while now. Mitch McGary, Josh Hustis, those were 2 misses. Campaign was a hit. He's played, had a successful career in the NBA. Terrence Ferguson, that was a miss. Darius Baisley, it's a miss, depending on how you want to look at it. Josh Giddey, that was a hit. Chet Holmgren, that was a hit. J-Dub, that was it. Cason Wallace, that was a hit. So he's done pretty well in the history of first-round picks, but you're going to miss sometimes. And that's what Dylan Jones was. Dylan Jones in the summer league, he had a little bit of a breakout there. People were really excited, but then got to the G League and wasn't really able to put it together. You saw him, in NBA time, like you saw him in garbage time minutes. And again, like Dylan Jones just was not good. And so, if you're Oklahoma City, you get to the point where you have to start making hard roster moves, whether fans really want to do that or not. And the roster move that you had to make here was you were starting to become backlogged with roster spots and available roster spots. And the Oklahoma City Thunder just went out there and drafted 2 players. And one of them in Thomas Sorter, who I believe is probably going to get some playing time pretty early in the year, because I believe Mark and the staff are really going to want to see what they have in Sorter and see if he's going to be a suitable replacement for Isaiah Hartenstein if that time comes. But the Oklahoma City Thunder, right? So you got Colby Jones. You're going to waive him. That contract was non-guaranteed, so there was no future cap hits for Oklahoma City there. And then to Washington, they get Dylan Jones in that 28 restricted, or they get that 28 pick. So if you look at it, Oklahoma City's roster backlogged. 16 players were under contract, including the first round pick, Thomas Sorter. Trading Jones put them at 15, and it allowed them to do what they just did with Jalen Williams, which is where I think we got to talk about this now. So Jalen Williams, they declined his player option, but then gave him a 3-year, $24 million contract extension, which is going to be pretty team-friendly, which is going to be able to help the Oklahoma City Thunder keep guys that Oklahoma City Thunder fans just really love, guys on the teams that really love each other. This is going to be those kind of contracts that continues to keep this team rolling. And Oklahoma City did it early. This is something that they did last year. And a lot of people would say they got those guys for a steal. And I believe, Jalen Williams the same way. Jalen Williams probably could have gone out on the open market and probably made a little bit more than this. But we do know that he loves this team. He loves this city. And, I obviously don't talk to him, but I mean, I'm sure there was a little bit of, hey, yeah, like I'm willing to take a pay cut to stay with this team. So, because I do believe he probably could have went out into the market and probably got more, but the Oklahoma City Thunder declining his option and then giving him basically a pay raise and a 3-year extension. That was a big time move by the Oklahoma City Thunder, re-signing Jalen Williams. He provides a lot more than I think some people actually realize for you. If you go look at that Denver series, Jalen Williams was phenomenal there. During the regular season, he was a great player to basically come off the bench and give Hartenstein and Chet a break. And I think in the regular season, even if he doesn't play a ton of the playoffs, that's just as valuable because, obviously, you don't want to play your superstars, 30, 35, 40 minutes every single night because sometimes you don't have to. And, if you have somebody else that can step up and, basically give you a lot of value, that's what Jalen Williams is. And Jalen Williams this season shot 39% from three, and the postseason shot 36%. So, in my opinion, that plays. And the Oklahoma City Thunder need guys that can shoot. And if you can get a guy that can either play the 4 or the 5 and stretch like that, I think that's a huge win for Oklahoma City. Now, Oklahoma City also just announced, Shams just announced that Oklahoma City is going to intend to re-sign guard AJ Mitchell to a new 3-year contract worth nearly $9 million after declining his 25-26 team option. Sources tell ESPN, OKC and Lifestyle Sports Agency CEO Todd Rasmusser and So anyways, they're talking about this new deal for AJ Mitchell. And this was one where maybe some people kind of thought to themselves, well, what's going to happen with AJ Mitchell? Is the Oklahoma City they're going to trade him? Because I heard some of those talks going into the offseason. And to me, that didn't make a lot of sense because before AJ Mitchell got hurt, he was actually like a pretty productive player for you. He shot 82% from the free throw line. He shot 38% from three. He was averaging just a little under 1 steal a game, 2 assists, 6.5 points per game. I think AJ Mitchell could work himself into a playoff rotation for the Oklahoma City Thunder long term. And I think this was worth potentially taking a flyer on him to see, okay, does he continue to develop at the rate that he already has? And I think he showed you a lot of really good things that last season that said, hey, like, yeah, we're going to bring him back and at least maybe give him another year. And if it doesn't work, if you're the Oklahoma City Thunder, you could always trade him, right? That option's always available. And we know Sam Presti, the Dylan Jones trade is not going to be every trade. Sam Presti will send guys out and he will get stuff in return. But, for the Oklahoma City Thunder, I didn't think it made a lot of sense to keep Dylan Jones at this point in time with what you've seen from him. So kind of what does the 2025 roster or the offseason roster look like at this current given point in time? So if you're looking at the Oklahoma City Thunder, SGA, Jalen Williams, Lu Dort, Chet Holmgren, and Isaiah Hartenstein, that's going to be your starting 5 going forward, at least until something comes up for Isaiah Hartenstein down the road. For your reserves, you're looking at Cason Wallace, Caruso, Topic, Isaiah Joe, AJ Mitchell. You're going to have Usman Dang, Kendrick Williams, Aaron Wiggins, Thomas Sorber, Jalen Williams. You'll also have your second rounder, which I'm curious to see how much he actually plays. And I would try to say his last name, but I don't know his last name, so I don't know how to say it. So we're just not going to try to butcher it. The Oklahoma City Thunder's projected salary is going to be $186 million, with their tax threshold being at $187.8. The first apron is at $195.9, and their second apron will kick in at $207.8 million. So the Oklahoma City Thunder still have a little bit of ways to go before they're going to get there, and they're going to be just right under the tax. So they're free agents as of right now. No longer AJ Mitchell, but Alex Dukas, Adam Flagler, Brendan Carlson. I'll be curious to see what they do with Carlson. Throughout the season, they kept signing him to these 10-day contracts, and then they signed him to a 2-way deal. So we'll see if maybe they try to bring him back to like their G League team and be able to call him back up and down. Extension eligible this season. You're going to have SGA, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Lu Dort, and obviously Jalen Williams just got his contract extension, so that one's been taken care of. SGA is the big one because you kind of look at that and you say, what does SGA do? Does he take every penny that he's basically worth and should be given, or does he take a pay cut to maybe keep more of this team together. I think that's a really intriguing story going into the offseason, and we're about to find out more about that as well. So the Thunder do have a non-tax mid-level exception of 14.1, a biannual exception of 5.1 million, and then a second-round exception and a veteran minimum. So the Oklahoma City Thunder, coming off of a championship, I think are in a lot better spot than most teams because you can keep the chunk of this team together. You can run it back, which not a lot of teams are able to do sometimes. And you're still potentially going to be under the tax threshold. So, before a lot of these big time contracts kick in, you can maybe try to get 2 chips with this team together, and wouldn't that just be something else? So I want to hear from y'all. Join the discussion. Jump in the comments below. Let me know what you guys are thinking. And if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like and hit that subscribe button.